Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Luey's Garage. I know I haven't been uploading a huge amount recently, and that's because we've had a lot of stuff going on. Just about a year and a half ago we sold our old house, so this is why there's been a bit of a change of scenery. And so we moved into the new house. We've since then done a bunch of renovations on this house, basically redid about half of the house. And you know, I've been busy with other life things. We're expecting a baby very soon, our first baby, so that's going to keep us busy as well. And to be honest, there hasn't really been a lot of car stuff to talk about. There has been the odd fix and the odd maintenance thing, and I've got a backlog of like 20 videos to upload. But in terms of the cars and the car fleet, I've been really happy and everything's been going really well. So I'm going to take you through a bit of a tour of the new garage and explain some of the changes that have happened in the last sort of year and a half, and hopefully we'll be uploading a little bit more in the next coming months as I get a bit more free time. We're not going to be doing a lot of travel anymore, so we're going to be focusing a bit more on home life, and that means that I think I'll have a little bit more time at home to record and edit and upload videos. But yeah, without further ado, I will give you a bit of a tour. Alright, so here we go. Here's the front entrance area of the new house, and the one thing that is pretty obvious is that my wife's Mini is still here. It's going really well. Haven't really had any problems with it. I replaced the rear bump stop recently, and just been doing services, brakes. That's pretty much it, so it's been pretty reliable. We are looking for a clubman because, like I said, we've now got a family on the way. So if you know someone who has a really decent clubman with really high specs, then please let me know, because yeah, these cars are brilliant and my wife wants another one, and she wants a clubman, so that's a bit more practical. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll move over here to the garage area, which is a little bit separate from the house, and have a look at my E250 station wagon. So this is a car that I bought actually just before we moved into this new house, and it has been absolutely brilliant. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace and I thought, I don't see these cars very often, and it has a really nice lip and a nice little bit of a body kit, kind of like an AMG body kit, so it definitely looks the part. It's got AMG replica wheels. I'm sorry, they are replicas. They got put on before I owned the car. But actually I don't mind them. They perform really well. They've withstood a lot of abuse from me. And yeah, they're actually, they look pretty good too. So yeah, not too bad. So some of you may have noticed that in my most recent videos, this has been featured. So this is the M271 Turbo, not the supercharged version. So in my old C200 it was the supercharged engine, and it's been really brilliant. We've taken away on long trips. It's been really good for moving stuff around, buying furniture, all that sort of stuff. It's been really practical and a really nice car. It's actually quite a big upgrade over the old C-Class, and I didn't even realize, but it actually has air suspension at the back. Apparently all of these station wagons, the W212s, have air suspension at the back, and it does make a big difference to the handling and the way that you can actually load stuff up in the back and not have to worry about getting too low. So yeah, it's been really brilliant, and to be honest, the condition of it is quite amazing. It is quite incredible that a 14-year-old car looks this good. The paint is still shiny, it's really good quality, and look at the interior as well. It's just absolutely stunning, this interior. We absolutely love it. It's got full leather all the way through. We've got a sunroof as well, which my wife absolutely loves. And you wouldn't be able to tell that this has done 150,000 kilometers at all. It's good to go for another 150,000, I would say. And in the back we've got the baby seat all ready to go, and it's also got one quite rare feature, which is the rear heated seats as well as the front heated seats, so that's quite nice. So yeah, we're definitely going to probably keep this car for quite a while, because it is a really nice thing, and I've done all the maintenance that needs to be done, a lot of preventative maintenance, and yeah, it's just a really nice car, and we can use it for family duties. It's quite cheap, so I don't really have to worry too much about it, and parts are pretty easy to get, so yeah, what's not to like? I think it's actually quite a good looking car as well. So You know, I've owned a lot of cars, but this is actually really, really nice. It's very understated, and it's not offensive at all, and it just looks great. So the other big advantage is obviously the big boot. These cars have a humongous boot. So here we go, we've got like a normal duffel bag loaded up in the boot, and it's only taking up half of the space. So it's very, very deep. I've managed to get things that are over 2 meters when the seats are folded down. It's nice that there's like an automatic cargo blind as well, so you don't have to constantly move that around. So there's heaps of little features like that in this car, which are really, really amazing. You can fold the seats down just by pulling these levers at the back. There's a couple of levers, and then you've got a huge amount of room. You know, you could very easily sleep back in here as well. Alright everyone, so now that we've got that out of the way, it is now time to address the Alfa Romeo in the room. So yes, I do have a new to me Alfa Romeo, you may have noticed, and this is a little bit different, but also quite similar to my old Alfa Romeo. So I'm going to talk to you about that in this video. And also I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my Exige and what's been going on with that. Right, so in the new garage we've also got a new to me Alfa Romeo GTV. So this is the 916 series GTV. So it also came in a very similar Spider, basically the same car, with the same engine options and the same look. Everything's pretty much the same. Apart from obviously the Spider is a convertible and the GTV is a coupe. So what happened was I saw this car a few years ago for sale before lockdown, and at the time I had just kind of started working on the 147 GTA, and I thought this GTV looks really nice, but I'm not really sure about it. I haven't really heard much about these cars yet, and I didn't really know much about it. But it was definitely a really nice car, and I thought, wow, this has got the 3.2 engine, so the same engine as the GTA, and it's manual, and it's got red leather interior, you know, all that sort of stuff. This very, very car came up for sale on Facebook. But yeah, I just wasn't ready to sell my 147 GTA. I wasn't really ready to take on another project or another car. So at the time I thought, nah, it's alright, I'm going to leave that one and let that one go. It was also down in Wellington, which is quite far from Auckland, so I was like, it's a little bit too difficult to make that decision right now. Fast forward 4-ish years, so last year in November, so I am making this video rather late, I do apologise. But yeah, last year in November, I saw this come up for sale again on Facebook Marketplace, and at first I wasn't really sure if it was even a legitimate listing. Because there wasn't a lot of information, and the previous owner has just chucked on like a few photos, but I had a look at it and I went, hold on a sec, this is actually in New Zealand, it's in Auckland, and it just happened to be just around the corner as well, like maybe 10 minutes drive around the corner. So I thought, oh, hold on a second, maybe I should just go have a look at it at least, see what kind of condition it's in, and then we can make a decision after that, right? Because it's quite rare to see these cars, because this is a phase 3, so it's actually got the facelifted front end, so this is making it look very similar to the 166 facelift, to the 147 facelift, to all of the more modern Alfa Romeos. So I thought, wow, this is a really rare car. It's got the 3.2 litre Busso, and there's only 512 of these that were produced in the whole world. So 512 coupes and GTVs and 512 Spiders. So there's not many of these cars around at all. They're rarer than a lot of Ferraris, a lot of Lamborghinis, a lot of very, very rare exotic cars. And it looks the part. This is designed by Pininfarina, and this is the last iteration of the GTV, of the Spider, and they made it look just bang on, in my opinion, with that Scudetto, with that shield, with the new front bumper, and also with the little wing at the back. It just kind of balances the whole car. I actually really also like the wheels, because I kind of got sick of tally dials after having my 147 GTA for 6 years. So we basically rocked up and had a look at the car. The car was absolutely immaculate, I have to say. There were a few little paint issues and all that sort of stuff. That's normal for a 20-plus-year-old car. But just in general, the condition of the car was just incredible. And I was really impressed. I was like, wow, I knew the previous owner of this car, Well, I knew of the previous owner, and then I also found out later that I knew the previous owner, and the guy that bought it, and has had it for the last 4 years. He wasn't part of the club, so it kind of disappeared, and no one knew about it again. But the guy that owned it before me, he also took care of it. He also looked after it. He upgraded a few things, so he actually really did take care of the car quite a bit. So obviously I'm reaping the benefits of that now, and the car is just really, really incredible. Like when you compare it to when I got my 147 GDA and the state that was in, this is just miles better than that. There's not much rust anywhere. All the bits are there. There's nothing really missing, and the paint work is nice, and the body work is pretty good. In fact, I've probably damaged the body more than anyone else. And if you have a look at the interior, it is just an absolutely lovely place to be. This has only done 100 and something thousand kilometers, 103,000 kilometers or something like that. And I've only put on about 1,000 kilometers since I bought it. But yeah, the interior is just amazing. It is such a nice place to be. And with the red leather seats, the red leather door card, and the red carpet, and all of the phase 3 fascia and dials and center console. One of the previous owners changed the steering wheel because he didn't like the original one. I actually quite prefer this new one, so I'm going to keep that. And you even get some rear seats, which is nice. So Pom Pom can come along for a ride, and maybe our future kids, I don't know, when they get older. So yeah, it is just a really, really nice place to be, and the condition is really immaculate, and I couldn't really ask for more. So yeah, I took my wife along to the viewing as well, and she kind of fell in love with the car as well. So we made an offer on the spot, and the rest is history, really. I did manage to sell my 147 GDA fairly quickly. I listed it just before Christmas last year, and a gentleman from Christchurch bought the car, and hopefully he's enjoying the car. Like, it was pretty much all sorted and didn't really need much else to do. So it was ready for the next owner. So that was good timing as well. Just done a cam belt about a year before I sold it. So he doesn't even have to worry about the cam belt. This car does need a cam belt, so I'll talk about that soon as well. But yeah, just an amazing, amazing car. But with any old Alfa Romeo, there's always something to do. So literally a few days before I made this video, the window regulator packed up, and so I'm going to have to sort out the window regulator. You can see this is supposed to have auto drop, but there's no auto drop, and the door is very hard to close because there's no auto drop and the window doesn't go into the right slot. But the window regulator was working. It was just a bit slow. So I think hopefully if I lubricate some stuff and resurrect it, it might work. I'm not sure. Hopefully I don't have to try and find a new regulator or an aftermarket one, because I don't think they make them anymore. But yeah, we'll have to try and fix that. I probably will make a video for that because it sounds like a pretty common problem for everyone. So moving on to the back of the GTV. This is one of my favorite angles of the car, actually, because it looks so unique, with the light bar running down the bottom there. You don't really see many cars that have lights towards the bottom of the boot there, and it just looks really, really fantastic. It looks very exotic, and it looks very sporty, but not too aggressive at the same time. You may have also noticed that it has a big stainless steel exhaust system. So this is the Wizard catback exhaust. This was put on by a previous owner, so I did not do that. But having now had a Wizard exhaust on this car, I can safely say that it's going to stay on the car. It is a little bit loud for my liking, but yeah, it sounds really fantastic, and it really opens up that V6 rumble, V6 roar. I'll insert a video here of the cold startup, and you can hear it yourself. I just really love all the little touches in the interior as well. So you can see the Alfa Romeo logo on the brake and clutch pedals, and it just kind of adds to the special feeling of this car. It just kind of makes you feel like Alfa Romeo did try really hard to make it quite unique and quite interesting. Really like the dials, very similar to the 147 GTA dials. And we've got the temperature, coolant temperature clock and fuel gauge, and I really also like the climate control dials. And I've put in an aftermarket Pioneer stereo because the original Pioneer one in here was not great, so that's much better. So yeah, just going through the interior and trying to fix the little things as well. I've replaced a whole bunch of trim. I managed to fix some of the lights in the center console. Some of these heater control lights, I've changed the bulbs, but for some reason they're also a little bit intermittent, so I need to try and figure that out. Anyway, I've popped the bonnet, so let's have a look down there and show you the massive fiberglass bonnet that this car has. Right, so here's the bonnet. Gosh, it is very, very heavy. That is one of the things that people do to save a bit of weight on these cars, is to have a much thinner, lighter either carbon fiber or fiberglass bonnet. I don't think I'm going to do any of that. It's very heavy, but that's fine. I can leave it as it is because it is just a road car. So the bonnet is pretty amazing, under the bonnet I mean, and obviously, you know, this is a familiar view because it is the same engine as my 147 GDA. It is the 3.2 litre V6 Busso, and it's just really, really nice in this car. It's got lots of torque, it's so characterful with that Wizard exhaust. And it's just really smooth as well. I believe this is actually pretty much exactly the same engine as the GDA. Officially it's about 10 horsepower down, but I don't think they actually change any parts between the cars, and I think the ECU is even the same, so I'm pretty sure Alfa Romeo was just trying to prop up the GDAs, and these engines are actually exactly the same. But anyway, so there's a few things that are different in this engine from original. And that's probably a good thing because there are a number of things that you can do to make this car a bit better. So the first thing you might notice is the big strut brace. So very similar to the strut brace that I had in my 147 GDA, that was already there. So that was nice. Definitely does make a difference. A lot of people are like, I don't know if it makes a difference. It makes a difference, for sure. You drive it before having a strut brace and you drive it after having a strut brace, it does make a difference. And for the cost and the very, very small amount of weight that you're adding to the car, I think it's worth it. I have changed the polybush over here, so that was wearing out, so similar to my 147 GDA, same process. Someone else has changed this whole intake system, which is good, because the old one tends to crack and have problems. I was about to do that with my 147 GDA, but didn't really get around to it. So we've got the Auto Lusso silicon elbow. We've got some sort of aluminium, I'm pretty sure it's aluminium, polished aluminium intake pipe, and then there is a pipe across air filter in the airbox. Everything else is pretty much stock. And I think that's pretty much it in the engine bay in terms of mods. I do need to do a cam belt, so I'm not sure how easy that's going to be. There's not that much access in these cars to do the cam belt, but apparently it is possible to do it with the engine in situ. So I've got all the tools, I've got all the parts, all ready to go for that. Just need to, spend some time and do it. So that's kind of next on my list. And the other thing was I also put in these side braces. Totally Alpha sell these. And someone in the club put me onto these, and I was like, oh, I'm making an order at Totally Alpha anyway, so might as well go and buy some of those. So again, I'm not entirely sure how much difference that makes, but it's very light and is quite a cheap mod. It uses all the factory mounting points, so I thought I probably should just do it. I've also upgraded the headlight bulbs to LEDs. The original bulbs are terrible. These cars never came with HIDs like my old 147 GDA, so unfortunately there's no upgrade apart from the LED bulbs. But I'm happy to say I'm really happy with the LED bulbs, and they're working really well. So I think that's definitely a worthwhile upgrade, and it's very easy to do. You just take these plastic covers off, and then you can get access to all the bulbs. You don't have to take the headlight out or anything like that. So that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, but haven't really had any issues with the engine. Haven't really had to change anything in the engine. It's been really reliable. The gearbox has been really good. I've lubed up the gear linkage on the inside, and now it feels a lot smoother. So everything is working well there. So I'm really happy with this car, to be honest. Probably one of the one of the only cars that I bought that isn't really a project car and is kind of ready to go. So pretty happy about that. And I paid pretty much the same price that I sold my 147 GTA for. So I think I got a pretty good, well, maybe not a great deal, but like a decent deal. And the guy was really nice as well, the previous owner, and he was very accommodating, and he basically was a really genuine person and told me everything about the car that he knew. He'd obviously looked after the car. He put in speakers, he put in a reversing camera, so he made the car a little bit more usable. So I'm really appreciative that he looked after it so well, and that I'm able to have the opportunity to own this car, which is quite rare. And yeah, I never thought I would actually own one of these. So it's a bit of a dream come true, to be honest. Now I didn't really want a black car again, so that's kind of the irony of this, is that I've got another black 3.2 litre Busso. I'll just close the bonnet here. But honestly, it's not too bad, because this is a small car, so it's actually fairly easy to keep clean, and I do try and keep it as clean as possible, because it is really horrible having a dirty black car, and I'm pretty sure all the club members will absolutely hate me if I did that, so I do try and keep it as clean as I can. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to do the window regulator and try and resurrect that, and also have the cam belt to do. I've got lots of other videos to upload for this car as well, so stay tuned and you'll see more of this. Right, and on the other side of the garage, what about the Lotus Exige? Well, the Lotus Exige has been annoyingly boring. It has been super boring, because nothing's gone wrong. It has been absolutely perfect. I have just done a big service on it, because I've had it for almost 4 years now. So I've changed the engine oil, the oil filter, I cleaned the K&N filter, the K&N air filter, and I also changed the gearbox fluid. So I am going to make a video about the gearbox fluid, because it's not as simple as you might think, especially on these later cars with the transmission cooler. So I do have footage for that, and I will make a video of that. And I've got a few other things that I want to upload for this car as well, just general sort of maintenance sort of stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, this car has been really solid and really kind of boring in terms of maintenance and content. But what I am planning to do also is to maybe make a few more driving videos, because now I've got some new equipment, I've got a bit more free time, I think. I know that baby's on the way, so a lot of people are like, oh, you're not going to have any free time anymore. But to be honest, I think I'm actually going to have more free time, especially with only one baby on the way. Maybe 2 babies would be a little bit harder. And yeah, I think I might do a few more sort of driving videos and, talk to you a bit more about the ownership experience and, how this car compares to some of the other cars that I've driven recently, like McLarens, for example. But yeah, I'm really happy with this car. Some of the stuff that I've done recently has made it even better. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be keeping this car for a long time, because every time I jump into it, after I haven't driven it for a while, it's kind of like having a new car again, because you put your foot down in second gear and it just absolutely rockets off, and you still get the feeling of, wow, this car is such a fast car, and going around corners, driving on back roads, it is just incredible. I'm really liking the new tyres that I put on about a year ago as well. So these are Hankook RS4s. These are really grippy, and they don't feel too scary in the wet as well. So I'm really enjoying those. I got them at a bit of a steal from a local supplier. So I've got all 4 tyres, Hankook RS4s, and luckily they make the same size as the Exige. So that's really good. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this car, and I think it's a bit of a keeper. So, I'm pretty sure you'll see more of that on the channel as well. Alright everyone, hopefully you enjoyed that little garage update and a little walk around of all the cars that I have. There has been a few changes, so I do feel kind of bad that I haven't made this video a little bit earlier. I know that I've been a bit slack with uploading content, but don't worry, there's plenty of content. I just need time to edit and a bit of time to to make them look good. and make sure that you get a really good experience. So stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe, because there's more content coming, and there's going to be a lot more Luey's Garage. So I'll see you soon.